Hello, I'm Kimberly Chapman, publisher of Sheen magazine.
And I am Sammy Haynes, editor-in-chief of Sheen magazine. And guess what? Today we are here to show you how to create the perfect brow.
Yes, with the amazing wax and brow goddess, Toya Lachelle.
Yeah.
Toya, let's talk. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. You're
Good.
so beautiful.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Wow.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You're such a beautiful girl.
Thank you.
I have to say that anyway. But tell us, how did you get into the beauty industry?
I actually got in the beauty industry back when I was 13.
Years old?
13 years old.
Wow.
I wasn't actually doing much then with anyone, but I'm all about the brows, of course. And back then, my aunt, she used to take us in, and you know, back then, brows were all pencil thin, right? So she used to razor our eyebrows, and we would go over there every weekend and have our eyebrows done every 2 weeks, you know, faithfully.
And were they paper thin or pencil
Oh yeah,
thin?
they were thin. They were thin. I look back like, there was no friends back then, right?
That's why I don't do that whole brow thing. So, yeah.
Right. And so I really got serious about my craft after going to so many different nail salons and literally sitting there like praying that my eyebrows wouldn't be high or low and then unperfectly matched, right?
Right.
So
matched.
I remember I was in college actually when I started getting serious about brows. I literally had no money, and every month my grandma would send me $50. And so it was one Friday, and I didn't have any money but the $50, but I went to Sally's Beauty and I bought my first waxing pot. It was by Gigi. And Gigi, they don't have this kind of deal anymore, but they literally, you could get a single pot, a can of wax, and then they gave you a DVD. And so I purchased that. I took it back to my apartment and I literally watched that DVD. And then you know how like they have brow mapping now?
Right.
Well, back then I don't know if there was a thing called brow mapping, but I literally would map my brows out, and I would take the wax and I would put it on my brows and burnt myself so many times I can't even count. But that's how I got my start, and I started working, doing my friends, perfecting their brows.
Wow. So how do you know how to have the perfect brow for the facial structure?
So what I like to do is when my clients come sit in my chair, I like to look at their forehead, their eye set, and their jawline. And so say for instance, if someone has a really rounded face, I don't want to create a rounded brow for them because now they lose dimension on their face shape.
Wow.
Or you say like someone has like close set eyes, I'm not gonna have your eyebrows coming far out here closer to the bridge of your nose because now your face is imbalanced. But if you have wide set eyes or like eyes that are like far apart, then I want your brows to come closer into the bridge of your nose, so now your eyes can look like they're closer together.
That's not, oh wow.
You know, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Like she really
You
is
brought that, that's a
scientific
science,
about-
right?
Oh,
You
it's
broke
an
that
art
down.
for sure. It's an art for sure. You do not, like a lot of people just go to the nail salons and they think they can get these just quick $10 5-minute brow waxes, but every hair and the shape really plays a huge role in the way your face actually looks.
So I have to ask you, like, real quick, like, why do you think brows today is so important? Like, women would spend their last dollar to have the perfect brow. Why?
Well, they do that because there's actually, you know how you just said it's a science? It's actually scientifically supported that the first thing that people visually see on a person's face is their eyebrows.
Wow, I did
Yeah.
not think of that.
I thought it was
Like
your
you're
eyes.
really, like you're an expert.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, buts about it.
So when waxing,
Uh-huh.
what is the best kind of wax to use?
Okay, so I do multiple kinds of full body waxing.
Yeah.
So let's take, for instance, if you're getting a Brazilian wax, you're going to use something that's a hard wax, and what that consists of, there's no strips. It only is made to adhere to the hair itself and not the skin, so it's making it less painful for people. And then eyebrows, I use something called soft wax. And I use soft wax because that's when you use the strips, and it's adhering to your skin and your hair. So basically it's taking that first layer of skin off.
Oh wow.
And so that's what, to me, in my personal opinion, that's what makes your brows really pop when you have that new, clean, fresh skin, and then you have a perfectly groomed, shaped eyebrow. I just love that. But everyone can't get waxed with soft wax because it adheres to the skin. So if you're on certain medications, then you need to opt to get threading instead. And I do both of those as well.
Wow, you are a new goddess.
Right, that's what know,
because
like.
I mean, you know, I never really thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I guess now we got to get out of here so she can show us how to create that perfect brow.
I'm excited. Hey guys, so I'm Toya Lachelle. I'm the brow artist here in Greenville, South Carolina, and today I'm going to show you how to create the perfect eyebrow shape for your face. So my lovely model right here, I've already pre-waxed her. And what I did is I emphasized her bone structure and gave her high arches. She naturally has high arches, and a lot of times people get confused and they think your arches are actually at the bottom, when really your arches are at the top of your eyebrow. And people sometimes, because they want high arches, they will thin out the brow just to give you that arch. But I don't like to do that. I like to go with your natural structure. So she naturally had high arches, so we played on that for sure. So one thing that I always like to tell people when you first start with putting makeup on your brow is you always want to first brush your hair up. It makes a big difference because when we wake up, our brows are naturally kind of like brushed to the side, brushed down. There's no type of pop in our shape. But if you brush the hair up, you can naturally see that shape that you have on your brow, especially if they have already been properly groomed. So today I'm going to show you how to apply brow makeup with powder. One thing I love about powder, and I always tell my clients, less is more. I don't like to use a lot of product because then that takes away from the natural beauty of your brow, okay? So one thing I like to do is I like to take a little powder and I like to tap and brush off the excess powder. And I'll go at the bottom of the brow and I'll create a line following that natural shape. And then once I go and I create that line at the bottom, I then will go to the top. I never create a line at the top of the brow, at the very head of the brow, because then it makes it unrealistic. So I always start about midway, and I'll go and I'll take that line all the way to the arch. Again, less is more. And then I'll go down to the tail. Once I have outlined the brow, I then like to go ahead and fill in any sparse area. And I don't fill in too much, especially if someone has a naturally full brow. And a lot of times, even if you don't have a naturally full brow, you can still make your finer brow look a lot fuller by not going so heavy on your makeup and just really emphasizing those hairs. But it definitely all starts with the proper grooming of your brow. When I come to the front, I like to then take this line that I have and always brush that line up. You don't want to see any lines in your brow shape. And then the second step, there's 3 steps to a process of filling your brows in. The second step I like to do is a highlighter. Another good thing about highlighter is that you don't have to set it with anything, whereas concealer, you want to typically set it with some type of powder. So what I do is I first go like right below this hairline, and if you notice, I went, again, less is more. So I went and I literally tapped my brush on the highlighter. And now I'm just going to create that line right up underneath the hairline, but without touching the hair itself. Once you create that line, you then just blend any extra product down. Another thing that I like to do when I'm putting this highlighter on is I like to go out a little bit with my highlighter right here because it just elongates the brow, making it look like it comes a little bit more into the bridge of the nose when it may or may not. But you always want to blend that up, and also always make sure you're wiping your brush off, you're taking the product off, and then blending up. I'm a big fan of a tapered tail. So one thing I like to do is I like to make sure there's no type of highlighter at the top, because one thing that you don't want is you don't want the halo effect. You don't want to highlight at the bottom of your brow and also a highlight at the top. You also don't want that because then it constricts your brows to where then it's making the top part of your brow look a lot skinnier than what it needs to be. But I like a tapered tail, so what I like to do is then fix her tail and really bring that brush down, creating that nice flawless tail. And then the final third step, which is my favorite step, is eyebrow gel. Eyebrow gel is super important because it really makes your hair stand out of that makeup, giving you that flawless look. And again, when I said less is more, I always advise my clients to first choose a lighter powder and then go with a darker shade of your brow gel. And what that will do, it just makes your brow pop a little bit more. So you can see on this side of the brow, which I had already done previously, you can see her hairs pop a lot more than on this side right here. But now we're about to do the same, and I always start at the tail because I don't want a lot of the product at the front of the brow. And make sure you grab every hair with your brow gel. Think of mascara for your eyelashes. This is the same thing for your brow hairs. So you want, even those little baby hairs at the tail or at the front of the brow, you always want those to pop out. It just creates you a longer, more fuller look. And that is it. So now you can see that both of her brows are completed. They look super natural, and you can really see her hair of her brow.
Oh my gosh, did you all enjoy that beautiful rendition from the brow goddess?
Yeah, I did. It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
I gotta make my appointment today.
Yes,
Me
ma'am.
too. Although I feel like I have nothing to do anything with, but hey,
We got
I
you.
need to be brow line.
I got you covered.
I know, I love that one. She's gonna be, and I'm gonna be brow lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, so, and you give classes.
I do. So currently I give classes for brow one-on-ones. So that's just for your typical person, like if you want to come in and you want me to train you how to do your brows every day, right? So that takes me doing your brow, and then I let you do them, and you can bring in your own products or I'll show you with my products.
Nice.
And in June, which is next month, 2 weeks from today, I actually will be dropping my dates for me to go and train cosmetologists and estheticians how to create the perfect eyebrows. And that's with waxing, threading, and filling in your brows.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, Toya Lachelle, remember that name because
Remember
it's
it.
a celebrity right here in the making.
That's right.
Yeah.
Making. Perfection. Perfection.
Yes, yes,
And you
yes.
can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Hudson Brow and Waxing, because that is the name of my business.
Nice.
Hudson Brow and Waxing. That's on Facebook and Instagram.
Any website or phone number?
Yeah, it's www.hudsonbrowandwaxing.com, and the number is 775-2488.
And everybody, thank you for joining us today. Make sure you pick your copy of Sheen Magazine up at Books A Million, Target, Barnes & Noble, and of course, go online to sheenmagazine.com.
For more information about Sheen Talk Live, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Sheen Magazine TV. Click the link below.